Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. Morgan Stanley says XRP replaces Swift. Huh, we got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.96 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 1.7%, 114,000 plus for Bitcoin, 4,400 plus for Ethereum. XRP is $3 right now. We're up 1.36 on the 24. We're up 4.48 on the 7-day. Looking at the range of price, we're ranging between 294 and 302 at 301.013. Now I can't even. $3.01 at 3.0178. We're very close to the top side of the range, is what I wanted to say. Now I showed this article or post this morning, and I did remark that they were lucky that they were able to, keep this attack from really happening. But this is the CTO from Ledger talking about a large-scale supply chain hack that was in progress. Like I said, they were able to stop the majority of that. That's wonderful. But I show you this because I'm like, listen, the first place I'm going to go is place I can get peace of mind for my assets. Now, I've been with iTrustCapital for their amazing crypto, gold, silver IRAs since damn near day one. 6 years I've been with them now. So loving that for me. But then they've gone and created the premium custody account, which really gives you a closed loop system. So if you're looking just to put your assets somewhere, still have access to trade 24/7, 80 plus assets on the platform, you can do all of that. And then when you come out of the account, you have to come out as cash. You can't send your crypto out of the account. Why do they do that? They do that in case something happens like what the CTO of Ledger was just talking about, some kind of bad attack going on. If you were to have a SIM swap or click a link you shouldn't have, the worst thing that could happen in this scenario is that the bad actor cash out your crypto and send it directly to your US checking account because it's the only way to come out of that account. And that's the reason for it. So if you're worried about your assets and you want to know that you're safe, here's where you can do it right here. itrustcapital.com/XRP Army and get started today. Peace of mind is where it starts for me at my house. And I know it does for you too. Right here, US dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power since 1971. That's the last 54 years, ladies and gentlemen. This is why every crypto exists today. Don't believe it, it's still true. And it really is. It is not up for discussion. That is why all of these digital assets are here today. The central banks have hit a wall. Remember, the 0809 collapse, that crisis was a real estate default swap crisis. They kept rebundling bad loans and repackaging and selling them. Well, this time it's a money issue. It is actually the dollar that is the issue. So now the central banks have nowhere to turn. So what do central banks do when they can't print their way out of the problem anymore? They create a new asset class called digital assets. And then they're going to release bond issuances on top of this new commodities and money, and then issue bonds on top of it, and then have all of us give back the printed dollars that we have earned so they can pay off the debt and get out of the pinch that they're in. Don't believe it, it's still true. And here is the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins. The second time he's been the SEC chair. He may go down as one of the best ever. Take a listen.
An invasion of armies can be resisted, but not an idea whose time has come. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that crypto's time has come. For too long, the SEC has weaponized its investigatory subpoena and enforcement authorities to subvert the crypto industry. That approach was not only ineffective, but injurious. It drove jobs, innovation, and capital overseas. American entrepreneurs bore the brunt. and have been forced to spend fortunes on building a legal defense instead of a business. That chapter belongs to history. It's a new day at the SEC. Policy is no longer set by ad hoc enforcement actions. We will provide clear, predictable rules of the road so that innovators can thrive in the United States.
And there you have it. And I'll tell you something, they're not just saying it, they're showing up. Here it is, the super app.
A key priority of my chairmanship.
Of course, I forgot it's got music in it. I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. The super app is a key priority. And we know that X Money on X is getting ready to go live, as will all the Mag 7, right? The Google, the Facebook, everyone else is going to launch crypto wallets. Apple, they're all doing it, right? That's what super app is coming. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. Your social media is going to turn into your checking and savings account not long from now. This is where the world is going, unlocking the masses. And this is how you do it, by turning the social media app into a internet of value at the same time. Meanwhile, we see Congress introduces a new bill requiring the Treasury to study establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve as well as a U.S. digital asset stockpile, including a feasibility assessment and custody framework for federal digital assets. And I say I can make this real quick for you. We want to acquire assets in a tax neutral way. Well, then we do a revenue share. We do a bond issuance and issue digital asset bonds. And then that's how you can collect the assets for the government and then have the people win by earning a bond-like yield on these digital asset bonds. That's where we're going. I really do believe it. And meanwhile, Swift says they want to speed up cross-border transactions. Well, I think I know how they can do it. They could just get together with Citi and Ripple and tie the liquidity and the new messaging from Ripple all in one place, and voila, just like that, it's done. And they're already working together. That's what that video is about. We've covered it about a gazillion times. Morgan Stanley comes into the mix, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everybody pump the brakes. Morgan Stanley said XRP's 1 trillion flood to shake Swift. Oh, really? Do tell here. Well, Morgan Stanley has recently acknowledged that Ripple's XRP might be the leading alternative for Swift, emphasizing the crave for quicker transactions, particularly in the cross-border section. How about that? This is from a passage from Manhattan-based Financial Enterprises. Review has caught the eye of market watchers, and this is where it's from, right here. Ladies and gentlemen, XRP will disrupt Swift, says Morgan Stanley. And obviously, they've blocked the article from me being able to get it to load the rest of the way. But there is the article from FX Leaders, right? This is not a U.Today article. This is an article from a real publication. And that is a very real Morgan Stanley suggesting that. So there's no more of this. Do the big boys know about XRP and Ripple? Of course they do. Which really comes back to why Bo Hines is no longer the crypto advisor and Patrick Witt is, right? Because Patrick Witt comes from the Department of Defense and DARPA and all the rest of it, implementing new payment systems. That's why he's there. And guess what else? The new crypto White House advisor, Patrick Witt, calls for swift stablecoin law rollout, market structure bill, and a U.S. crypto reserve. Isn't that the damnedest thing? Everything we've been talking about for years that everyone has made fun of us of because they lack the knowledge to see what we could see. And then some even attacked us for years, right? I don't know. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I've heard that some people have close eyes or inbreeding. I don't know what it is. But some of them that have attacked us, I got to be honest, have got to feel like a real smacked ass this day and age because it's all unfolding right in front of us. I don't know what to say. I mean, what else can you do? I do dabble in comedy a bit. I think you guys know that by now. Ripple has now spent over $3 billion on acquisitions and strategic opportunities to date. Let's just highlight the two we know of recently. Rail Financial, right? $200 million. And then $1.25 billion for Hidden Road, which settles $3 trillion a year in securities. and just got licensed approval after Ripple purchased them to help settle the 2 quadrillion plus for the DTCC as well, right? So things are looking up, ladies and gentlemen. We just need the legal framework for it all to begin. That's really the truth. Okay. Swift takes days, XRP takes seconds. Swift costs $50. XRP costs fractions of a cent, 400 thousandths of a cent to be exact. Which rail do you think BIS and banks prefer? XRP Ledger for the win, ladies and gentlemen. And then research shows that the XRP Ledger is a potential leader in the tokenization market, estimated by the World Economic Forum, who we're not fans of, but nonetheless, they exist. And the total tokenization market is estimated to be 867 trillion. Now, you know, for fun, I have to go look and see what 867 trillion would be at XRP price. We're not going to capture 100% of that. I think y'all know that, right? But if we did, at current framework of this, and remember, this calculator was created by Robert Mitchnick, from now at head of digital assets at BlackRock, and Susan Athey, who is also a board member at Ripple. So $57,000, $57,001.53 if you capture all 867 trillion. That's where it's at today. Look, I don't expect to capture all of that, but I think it goes to speak to the larger narrative of it, as I've always said. Ripple is, and XRP is here to serve the globe at scale. And because of that, I firmly believe that it will reach 4 and 5 digit prices, 1,000, 10,000 plus at some certain point. Now, I've never pretended to know when that would be, but I do know that tokenizing the rest of the traditional world and finance is a great way to get there, because that's how you're going to make that happen. The question will always remain is how much of that will we be able to capture? Now, in regards to the conversation to Swift, remember, Brad Garlinghouse himself at the most recent Apex gave a prediction that there would be 14% on the XRP ledger of Swift's activity in the next 5 years. How about that one? Now, that's a pretty bold claim right there. And then here, although still lofty, here's a more grounded goal that takes us away from the 50,000, because, you know, we're not going to see that next Tuesday, obviously. But here's XRP bull run hasn't even begun yet. Price discovery will begin when we break the 2017 high. Chart suggests $200. So just really looking at this from Crypto Bull 2020, if you look at the pump we saw in 17-18, there's a 5,000% pump there that happened. Basically, if that repeats, you're looking at the $200 mark for XRP. So I don't care if it does half of that. I'm okay with that for getting out of the gate, right? $100. I'm okay with it doing a quarter or an eighth of that, for goodness sakes. That is remarkable. And to me, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, and Crypto Bull's not saying it either. He's just saying if history basically repeats, these are the numbers you're looking at, right? Just like when it was 6/1000ths of a penny, and then it went to $3 plus in a short period of few months between April to the end of the year. So think of it for a moment. You know, could we see that repeat again going into 26? I don't know the answer, but I am showing it to you because we have seen a 5,000 plus pump before in this space. The question is if we get a big pump again, will it be 5,000% more or less? Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.